Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com, and yes, I was wrong about Tesla. And probably the worst part about it was I was wrong publicly. But there is good news in me being wrong is it has now created a real life learning opportunity that is very, very important if you want to have success as a day trader, or not necessarily just a day trader, but if you want to make money online being a trader, whether that be stocks, options, Forex, futures, cryptocurrency, whatever you're looking to trade, this is a lesson, this is a discipline that you need to be aware of, and not only aware of it, because knowledge is one thing, but you need to be able to apply that knowledge in order to actually make money consistently over the long haul. So that's what I want to focus on here, but I also want you to know that none of this is theory. As I already alluded to, this was made publicly, so this is an example where you could look up the video if you wanted to and watch it, but I'm going to save you the time, and I'll just talk about and show you what I had done and then how things played out. But again, there's a great learning lesson in this, and one that is not, and I would encourage you, if you are brand new to the channel, brand new to the video, I would say, you know what, go ask somebody you do trust. Go ask somebody that you would consider very, very successful within the stock market or options market or really any market that they're trading. Ask them if they're successful, or if you believe they're successful or they are. Ask them if what I talk about here actually matters, or if I'm just being dramatic about it, or so just like I said, don't take my word for it. I'm not asking you to trust me, especially if you're new. Just go out there and see what other people think about this. So like I said, none of this is theory, and here was a little context here. A video that I did on Tesla. I do have another channel where I just do these video charts, but I don't do them on the main channel just because I don't want to blow up your feeds all the time with a bunch of videos. So I just created a separate channel for that. So that is where this video is coming from. And on the video, I talk about a few specific levels. And this was all coming from just a few days ago, but that is the context. That is what this is all based off of. So like I said, no theory. This stuff all actually happened. And not only did it happen, it was all publicly documented, which, adds in a nice little kind of flair for this. So how I was wrong. Well, on that video, I talked about that trend line being a key area where you would want to see the price break. And if the price did break above it, hey, you would have to like the chances that the bulls would make a good run and potentially get up over that $500 mark, if not go even higher than that. And that was what I had commented on in the video, was that's a resistance trend line. Watch that, and if it can be broken, there could be some really good things that happened. And yeah, you know what? It was broken. You see that little black line right there that peaks up above that orange line, which represents, in case you're not familiar with candlestick charting, that represents that the price did indeed get up above the trend line. But then as you see there's also some red portion of the bar, or candlestick as it called, meaning that was what we would call a fake breakout. Or in other words, this was the market's way of saying and telling me, hey Clay, yeah, you're wrong. You are wrong. Which is, nobody really likes to hear that they're wrong, right? I mean, I very rarely hear anybody say, hey Clay, I love to hear that I'm wrong. But that's what the market was telling me with what, again, in trading terminology, a fake breakout. Now, this is very, very critical, and this is a thing where if you don't believe me, that's fine. I'm not going to ask you to trust me, but go ask somebody that you do trust. Be versus stay. What am I talking about here? Well, fact number one, the perfect trader, investor does not exist. Does not exist. No such thing as a perfect trader or investor. Even Warren Buffett loses money. It's always fascinating. Any successful person, they've been wrong, maybe not necessarily in trading, but just whatever their career path is, they've made decisions, they haven't been right. Therefore, because a perfect trader does not exist, it is expected, normal, that you will be wrong. So it's normal, it's expected. It doesn't mean you're a bad trader to be wrong, because that's going to happen to everybody, because, like I said, fact number one, the perfect trader does not exist. However, and this is crucial, you will not survive as a trader if you choose to stay wrong. And let me reiterate that. I realize I'm using a stock right now as the example, but this applies to options, to Forex, to futures, to cryptocurrency, to baseball cards, to anything that you are trading. If you choose to stay wrong, you are not going to make it long term. You are not going to find consistent success when you choose to stay wrong. Be wrong, that's fine. That's normal. That's expected. Nobody's perfect. But staying wrong is a much, much bigger problem. So how to be wrong? Well, step one, admit you're wrong. right here. Admit, yeah, that's a fake breakout. I was wrong. The market got me. It did break out for a little bit, but it didn't last very long, and now it's showing that it is a fake breakout. I was wrong. Not easy to say those 3 words, but it is definitely required. I was wrong. But remember, it's normal. It's expected to be wrong. So if that can help you take that first step, great. That's the goal here. Let's learn. Let's get better. Step number 2, swallow your pride. Yeah, I was wrong. No, I don't want to be wrong, especially if being wrong leads to losing money, but swallow the pride. Kick the ego to the curb. Do whatever you needed to go to get your emotions out of the way. Just swallow the pride. And step number 3, take the loss. Just take the loss. I realize this is all easier said than done, but full disclosure on my sake, I am trying to use some fear tactics here. I am trying to scare you into actually applying this, because sometimes fear is a great teacher. So yes, I am, you know how some people sail through fear and all that sort of stuff. I am definitely trying to teach through fear right now. So how did it all play out? Well, right there. And I realize I could use numbers, but I'm a simple-minded person. So let's just use shapes, because I feel like shapes is something we can all relate to, given we learned about them in like preschool. So there was the loss right there. That box represents, you know what? You admitted you were wrong, you swallowed your pride, and you took the loss represented by the green box. But now I was actually right too. So if you watched that entire video, I also talked about that 488 level. And, in a nutshell, I said, hey, you know what? There's going to be a lot of people watching that level. And if the price can break down through there, that could create some more downside momentum. So that was a level that I had also mapped out in that video. So how did it play out? Well, yeah, the price ultimately did go down there, broke through the 488 mark, and ultimately went down as low as 473, which was a $15 move in the exact same day. So, I was actually right there. So how does that shape up? No pun intended, from a shape perspective. Well, right there. And not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, but the losing box, which I made green for a reason, because that's where you actually are making the money. By keeping that loss small, you're making the money. Hence that being the green box. And then the orange box right there, like I said, not to insult your shape ability, but that box is quite a bit bigger. But wait a second. What about the other people? What other people? Well, what about the traders that decided to stay wrong? Well, for those people, once again, not to insult your intelligence, but that's a very, very big box. That is a massive box if people decided to stay wrong. Now, am I saying that they sold the exact bottom? That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to convey the concept that if you decide to stay wrong, you're opening yourself up to potentially much, much larger losses. Because that's a big, big box. So the moral of the story is this: just be wrong. Because when you are wrong, when you just say, you know what, I'm wrong, it allows for the opportunity to what? Well, to be right. So admit that you're wrong, because as soon as you admit that you're wrong, swallow the pride, take the loss, well, now you have the opportunity to be right. And that's powerful. But, and this is where things can get really, really nasty. If you choose to stay wrong, there are actually 2 costs that come with that. The first cost is, well, you just saw that the cost becomes way more than it needed to be. So once again, for comparison's sake, that is the be wrong box. That is where you just go through this 3 steps. You admit you're wrong, you swallow your pride, and you take the loss. But if you stay wrong, wow, look at that box. It literally engulfs not only the be wrong box, but also the be right box. That is one hungry box. It is eating everything in sight, including your trading account, which is definitely not what you want to be eaten up. And then the second is, it costs you the opportunity to be right. I mean, think about it. If you stay in a losing trade and you stay in a losing trade, that is called an opportunity cost, because you are missing out on the opportunity to put your money someplace else and be right, and therefore get back those gains, or at least severely, reduce the loss that, maybe you had. But I mean, if you keep the loss small because you go through the process, then it shouldn't be that difficult for you to potentially get back those gains. So that's always a hidden one that's not necessarily there. That first one is, well, yeah, of course, Clay. If you don't be wrong right away, and if you stay wrong, well, then yeah, you're going to lose more money than you could have. And that's totally true. But it's that second one that's in many ways so much more powerful, is the opportunity cost. You are now costing yourself the chance at other great trades out there because you're just staying and holding and staying wrong, and your money and your capital is tied up. And that is a very, very costly cost to have when you are, preventing yourself from those other opportunities. So hopefully that kind of maybe hits home with some of you. In fact, in the comment section below, can you relate to any of this? Have you had a chance where you knew you were wrong, you knew you should have admitted that you were wrong, but for whatever reason, you decided to just stay wrong, and it ended up costing you way more than it should. And then, of course, you missed out on those other opportunities. Let me know that in the comment section. I definitely have. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I have had, trades and such where I made the choice to stay wrong, and yikes, it was not a pleasant experience at all. So like I said, yeah, leave those comments down below. And also, if you did enjoy the video, please hit that like button and check out the channel as a whole. And hopefully you enjoy what you see. There's lots of other comment there, live trade videos, other, kind of quick tip type videos, stuff like that. So subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. But if anything else, and you just enjoy this video and you want me to keep making videos like this, then the quickest and easiest way to communicate that to me is to hit that like button. But yeah, again, leave a comment down below. Let me know about any of these situations. But yeah, it's okay. Once again, I want to end on this. It's perfectly fine. It's expected for you to be wrong as a trader because nobody's perfect. But to stay wrong, that is where you could potentially get yourself slaughtered. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.